Hello and welcome to the first part of this tutorial. We are going to create an RPG game in this tutorial. We're just going to call it like Forest Quest with a 4. We're going to have a menu, start options, we'll have a character select, and then we'll have music, sound effects, keys, potions, tile maps, enemies, all that fun stuff. I'll give you a preview of what it looks like. You'll have to have the keys to win the match. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up PyCharm. That's what I use. You can use whatever text editor you want. We'll do new project, and we'll call it Forest Quest. Go ahead and create it. Okay, once it loads up, we'll delete all the default text out of it. Okay, we'll start off by importing Pygame and sys. So we go fork and sys. Highlight over the Pygame to install package. Once it's installed successfully, then we'll go pygame.display.setCaption. We will put Forest Quest. This will just put our name up in the top of the window. Okay, now we will set some constants. So we'll do win width, win height, tile size, FPS. So this will be the width of our window. We'll put it at 800. We'll put the height at 600. Our tile size at 32, and our frames per second we'll put at 60. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a game class. So we're going to do class game. Then we're going to define initialize self.screen equals pygame.display.set mode, and we'll have to do double parentheses and do win width and win height. Self.clock equals pygame.time.clock. And we have to call it, so make sure you have your parentheses. I have a typo here. We just put the R. Self.running equals true. Then we are going to do define create tile map. In this, we're going to do self and tile map. Build map, self, tile map. Then we're going to define new self tile map. We'll do self.playing equals true, self.all sprites equals pygame.sprite.layered updates. We'll do self.create tile map, and we will plug in tile map. Then we are going to do our events. So define events, self for events, and pygame.events, event, pygame.event.get, if event.type double equals pygame.quit, and self.playing equals false, self.running equals false. Next, we are going to define our update. So def update self.all sprites.update, and we are going to define our draw self.screen.fill, and we will put this as black, self.all sprites.draw onto self.screen, self.clock.tick FPS. This will keep it from running as fast as our computer will go. Instead, it'll just slow it down to 60 frames per second. Do self.display update. We are going to define our main while self.playing, self.events, self.update, self.draw. Okay, so real quick, I accidentally put self here instead of pygame.display. So now we are going to go ahead and create our tile map. We're going to do this by making it into a list and enumerating it. So we'll do tile map equals open bracket, close bracket. So in here, we're going to open quotes. I'm just going to put a bunch of dots in here for now. We can change this later. And then we'll do a comma, copy it, okay, paste, 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 paste. And then we will scoot them over just to make it look a little bit more uniform. This will be our map. Basically, it's just going to interpret nothing right now. Later on, we are going to plug in some stuff, but this is going to get us started for today. So now we're going to do game equals game dot new tile map, so that we'll plug it into our function. Game dot running game dot main. Once it gets done with the loop, we'll do pygame dot quit sys dot exit. Okay, so now we are going to have to add some more stuff up here at the top. So in order to build our map, we are going to have to create a new function. We're going to call it fBuildMap. We're going to plug in self and tile map. So for this, we're going to do for I, row, in enumerate tile map. Then for j, column, in enumerate row. What this is going to do, it's going to take the tile map that we just drew at the bottom, and it is going to take every row and make it as an I, and then for every column in the row, it's going to make it as a J. And that'll separate out each spot down below that we created. So for now, we are just going to put it all in a ground tile. So we will do ground self J I. So at this point, we need to make it where we can actually build these out. So in order to do that, we've got to create another class called ground. So class ground pygame.sprite.sprite. Def initialize self game x y. So self.game equals game self.layer. Don't forget the underscore on this. Underscore layer equals 1 self.groups equals self.game dot all sprites game dot sprite dot initialize self dot groups. And we're going to do self dot x equals x times tile size. Self dot y equals y times tile size. Self dot width. Self dot height equals tile size, comma tile size. You can group these variables together like this, especially if it's going to do a width and a height like that. So at this point, we are going to want to create an image to plug in as the ground. So if you look below, I've provided a link to a free asset you can use, which is just a little sprite sheet that I've made, and you can use the sprites for free. Just click on the link below. It should just take you to this, save image onto my desktop, and then from there I can just drag it over into here. And we don't really have to do anything with it. It opens up when you pop it in here, but we are going to use this little piece right here, and I already know which location it's at on the sheet, so we'll just go ahead and put it in. First off, we need to add the sprite sheet. So we'll come here in our game class and we will do self.terrain sheet equals sprite sheet, and we will open up that terrain 1.png. Of course, now we've got to create the sprite sheet class. So let's go up here to the top and let's do class sprite sheet. And inside here, we're going to define initialize. We want this to pull in the file. So self.sheet equals pygame.image.load file, and we need to convert it. So convert. Then we need to define get sprite. Self x, y, width, and height. Sprite equals pygame.capital surface. And we need open parentheses, open brackets, width, height. We need sprite.blit, which will actually draw it. Self.sheet, 0, 0. That'll be the position of the square. And we need to plug it in our x, y coordinates at the width and the height. And we need to return sprite. With that, we should have cleared out our errors with this. Plug it in here. Now we can make our image for our ground tile. So self.image equals self.game.terrain sheet get sprite. And this is the actual location on the sheet for it. I already know it, so I'm just going to put it in there. The self width and self height. Now we have to make sure that it knows that it's a rectangle so that we can pull coordinates off of the actual rectangle. So we have to do self.rect equals self.image and get rect. And now we can do self.rect.x self.rect.y equals self.x self.y. And with that, provided there's no errors, we should be ready to start this and test it out. So let's play. Looks like we got some green grass here. We got this nasty black down here, so we just need to extend out our tile map a little bit. So we'll just come down here and just add a couple more layers. So just copy, paste, and we'll try it again. Now we got a full screen of grass. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you can join me for the second part of this tutorial where we'll go ahead and go into some more details for this, but this is a nice start. So thanks for watching.